Hey guys, welcome back to my business class series on YouTube. You have started to watch this video because you want to educate yourself. The second episode is around financial intelligence and why it's the critical piece in your business that will determine whether you're successful or whether your business fails. Now, I don't know whether you know, but 96% of businesses fail over a 10-year period, and pretty much 50% of businesses fail within the first year. But why is that? Well, there are 8 for me, core areas of every business. And one of them is your finances. And it's the most important. That's why my business partner, Tony Robbins, dedicates 2 days of his 5-day Business Mastery Conference just to finances. He has a speaker called Keith Cunningham come on and talk about why you should understand your numbers, how you can understand your numbers, and he runs through certain examples of businesses. He actually gets people to raise their hand at the event, be willing to share their finances in real time, and he goes through and shows them where the hidden profit and cash flow is, there and then, instantly, with no preparation. Because he's a master, he's been studying his craft for 30 years. And now I've been in the finance world for 15 years. I've developed a really good understanding of what's a good and bad business, especially service businesses, coaching businesses within the health and fitness or wellness industry. But what typically happens as a business owner is you'll maybe allocate the responsibility of finances to your accountant or your bookkeeper, or you'll ignore it totally. And there's this mindset around, well, I don't have the ability or the skills or the understanding because I'm not qualified in finance. Maybe you did a PT qualification, or you've been to university and studied business and done a certain amount of numbers, but you didn't really enjoy those modules. So you ignore it, right? You wait for your accountant to maybe tell you what's going on. Well, I'm here to tell you that's one of the most critical mistakes you're making right now. You need to take ownership of your own financial intelligence and put a plan in place to improve it over time. But what is financial intelligence? Well, when you start out in business, things are pretty straightforward, right? You have one bank account. You just make sure that more is coming in each month than is going out, and that's happy days. You don't really need to concern yourself with key performance indicators, data, metrics, financial reports, and things of that nature. But once you get to I would say more than 5K a month, even before that, if you're trying to run your business from your bank statement, you will fail at some point because you just don't have the financial data available to see where all the risks are and also where all the opportunities are. The language of business is accounting. Unless you speak the language, you're not going to be very successful, okay? And the scoreboards in business that tell you whether you're winning or you're losing, those are the financial statements. So financial intelligence is being able to read the scoreboards and speak the language. So you can see exactly what's happening in your business. Just by looking at certain reports, you're able to identify, hey, there's a risk over here, or there's a real opportunity over here for us to grow. So let me give you an example of the health and fitness industry. If you have a client, and maybe it's a transformation client, so they want to transform the way they look over a certain period of time. First of all, you take a ton of measurements about where they're at now. Then you take another set of ideal measurements about where they want to be, and you track their progress along the way. But because you have intelligence in that area, if one of those data points is not moving as you like, if their blood test results come back and certain elements are not within the tolerances that you would accept, you change your strategy with that client and you change your tactics in order to keep them healthy and keep them progressing along the way. But we don't necessarily do this in business. If you can understand the financial reports, you can also understand what's good and bad performance and where should you focus your efforts. If you're looking down a profit and loss report, for example, which are the lines in that report where you should be dedicating more effort over your next quarterly sprint? A really good example that Tony Robbins always talks about at Business Mastery is flying a plane. So there's two ways that you can fly a plane. And the first one is with visual flying rules. And this is like, it's an analogy to just looking at your bank statement, having your own spreadsheet and not really taking things seriously. So you're flying along, happy days. You look out the window when you're flying, you know whether you're up or down, you know whether you're turning left, you're turning right. You know whether the weather conditions are good or bad. You know what speed you're going by looking at the dials. Everything's great. But as soon as you enter a really horrific storm, what happens is, or what can happen, it can affect your brain's judgment of all of those things. You'll look out the window, you'll think you're actually going up, but you're going down. You'll think you're going left, but you're going right. And so what the best pilots do is they fly IFR. They realize this is happening, so they stop trusting their own instincts. They look only at the dials, and they realize, based on what the dials are saying, what corrections they need to make. Like, we all know that, I mean, I'm filming this at the start of September 2022. There is a decline in the global economy coming. We are coming into a period where it's going to be even more difficult to survive in business. There's more and more people. It's becoming easier and easier to enter the market or enter the health and fitness market as a coach, for example. So there's more and more competition. So the way that you can maximize your chances of success in your business and have a business that delivers you financial freedom, it delivers you the ability to have impact and help change people's lives, and it helps you make the money that you deserve without having to work ridiculous hours. Okay, the only way you're going to be able to do that is putting a clear plan in place and measuring your progress, your financial progress against that plan, and understanding what the financial data and metrics are telling you. So you run your business like a pilot that's flying IFR. Even when things get really difficult, you're down, you're feeling emotional, you might make poor decisions. You look at the numbers and you make your decisions on the numbers. You might feel like you love a certain activity around generating leads, but the numbers are telling you that activity is not generating results. For example, you may love going to networking meetings and meeting people, but if you track how many meetings have I been to and how many leads have I generated and what's the value or the quality of that client, the data would probably tell you that's not a good use of your time versus targeted partnerships and maybe running ads and creating organic content. So you have to look at the data and you have to think about how to improve your financial intelligence. So here's 5 ways that you from this video can increase your financial intelligence now. Number 1 is partner with an accountant that has industry specialism. They understand the industry that your business is in, and they give you unlimited support. What that means is almost on a daily, weekly, at least monthly basis, you're having dialogue with your accountant. And every time you're speaking with them, you're asking questions, and thereby you're increasing your financial intelligence. Number 2, make sure you've got up-to-date and real-time accounting. And on a regular basis, whether it's quarterly or monthly, you go through your financial reports and statements with your accountant, and they explain them in a way that's relative to your level of financial intelligence at that time. So at the start, they might just be explaining how the financial statement works and pointing out 1 or 2 areas where you can increase profit or cash flow or even reduce taxes. But maybe a year from now, you're getting into more complex conversations around key performance indicators. Okay, number 3, in terms of how you would improve your financial intelligence, is just taking the time to study. So for all of our clients at Growth Factor, we offer them a foundational course that they can go through, which is, I think it's 9 or 10 modules, I forget right now. They can go through and watch those modules. All of them are half an hour to an hour long. There's bits of homework that they can do along with it. And by the end of that, and we ideally recommend our clients to do that within the first 2 to 3 months, they have a really good understanding of their finances. Their intelligence is up. They understand what all the financial statements are, why you should look at them, when you should look at them, what they work. They understand why they work for you. They understand what key performance indicators or KPIs they should be tracking in their business. They understand that they should look at a sales and marketing dashboard on a weekly basis, and that's the dashboard or the scoreboard that's telling them week by week whether they're going to hit their month by month or quarterly goals. So take the time to study up in this area. If you didn't get finance training or you don't have an accounting degree, I'm telling you, you can get the level of financial intelligence you need to effectively run your business by watching these 9 or 10 modules. So doing 9 or 10 hours worth of studying takes you from here right up to here in terms of your understanding. So number 4 would be get a set of custom reports and dials for your business in your industry, and make sure that you're guided through in such a way that you understand them. Look, businesses fail because typically business owners, they do not love accounting. I'm sure you don't love accounting. Maybe you're the rare one like me that loves numbers, but most people don't love accounting. They just want to see what's the bottom line. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it moving in the right direction? But you need, guys, you need to take the time in this area. And it's possible to have a set of custom reports that you can look at in 10 to 15 minutes a week, and a 1-hour meeting every month, and maybe a 90-minute meeting every quarter. Super important to have those reports delivered to you that are custom for your business. And the 5th step would be having real-time numbers. So have cloud accounting. My advice would be Xero, Xero. You can go in there and play around, look at reports whenever you like. For our clients at Growth Factor, we keep their books up to date every single week. That means that they have got a cloud system, but most people I speak to, when they're thinking about coming on board as a client, they're keeping it up to date maybe quarterly just because they have to file taxes. Or lots of clients, like we're looking at the moment at opening an office in Dubai because lots of our clients are moving out there and they want to continue to have this financial clarity. However, most people who move to a tax-free jurisdiction, they have no reporting, they have no Xero, they have no real-time numbers, they have no dashboards, they have no understanding of what's going on. So you need to have real-time financial information. And the second part to this, number 5, is get a CFO, get a chief financial officer. Like, it didn't used to be possible for a small business to have a CFO. You, if you're the only person, you're wearing every hat, you're having to make every decision on your own. If you look at the most successful businesses, they have a CEO, okay, Chief Executive Officer, that's the boss, that's you. If you're watching this, that's probably you. They usually have a COO, so Chief Operating Officer. When you start to grow, you'll bring someone into your business like that looks at process, looks at client feedback, looks at how the delivery is, while you as a CEO are probably more focused on creating content, working with them, delivering sales, and maybe doing some client work. And then you absolutely must, right from as early as you can, have a CFO. But how is it possible to have a CFO that should cost 150, 200,000 pounds or dollars a year for a small business that's maybe only making 10k a month or 5k a month or 20k a month? Well, you have a virtual CFO. When I used to work at Thomas Cook, I've worked at Paramount Pictures, at KPMG, long time ago, and I was in a finance team. I was super busy for 2 to 3 days of the month. This is for a big listed company. And the rest of the month I was like twiddling my thumbs, not too much to do. So you don't need to pay for a full-time CFO. They need to come in for those monthly meetings, those quarterly meetings, and give you that high-level advice. Turn your numbers into intelligence. Tell you, in their opinion, where the risks and opportunities are, and discuss and agree with you what actions you're going to take as a result of looking at the numbers. Okay, so number 5 is have real-time information and get a CFO. So I hope the second episode of Business Class was an eye-opener for you guys. It's the number 1 reason businesses either succeed or fail: their lack of understanding of their finances and their lack of prioritization around this area. The ones that succeed and are super successful dive deep into finances. Look at, say, Richard Branson. One of the first things he did, if you read his autobiography, was go and find an amazing accountant and appoint them as a CFO, head of finance, and all of the decisions that he was going to make, he ran them by the CFO first. When we look at less successful people, they try to do everything themselves. They don't have the CFO, they don't have real-time numbers, they don't have a system to educate themselves around financial intelligence, and so on and so forth. So I'd like to ask you, if you enjoyed this video, please like the video, please subscribe, and if you have any questions at all, I know it's a complex topic, please pop them below in the comments and I will reply to every comment personally. See you in the next episode, guys.